Is this a real X-ray? Is this one AI generated? How about this one? Is this one a deepfake? An international group of researchers recently put 17 radiologists to the test to see if they could differentiate between real X-rays and X-ray images generated by ChatGPT. They did kinda okay, I guess. My colleague Katie Palmer, a great reporter but notably not a trained radiologist, took the test and did roughly as well as the real docs in the study. In this week's status report, I chat with Katie about the study and its findings. And I'll take the test myself and see how I stack up against actual radiologists. And Katie, a prodigy when it comes to reading X-rays apparently. Before becoming an intrepid video journalist, at one time I worked as a visual effects artist. Alright, maybe I'm a little rusty, whatever. Anyway, I like to think I have a pretty good eye for spotting CGI or when an image has been photoshopped, you know, stuff like that. But AI is a whole different ballgame, so other than a couple pointers from Katie, I don't really know what to expect here.
So what I noticed most, and it was like the clearest indicator of a deepfake, was the graininess in the image was like really consistent. It was like the smooth, the grain level was really consistent. And then there were other times where like if there was an image with a lot of bones in it, like the vertebrae in a spine would be like all very similar in shape and size, where in a real body, like they differ from level to level. So basically like, yeah, the noise and like the consistency of the bone edges and shapes were kind of like real points.
Well, I'm looking forward to taking the test myself, but so thanks for the heads up. Thanks for the tips.
Yeah, I kind of hope that I still do better than you.
Katie correctly identified whether the X-rays were real or fake 75% of the time. So I'm gonna look at 100 images here and see if I can beat her score. But first, if you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe. It's a little click, but it's a big deal for us. And Status Report is now on Instagram. You can follow us there at statusreportig. Okay, here we go. Let's see how we do here. All right, start the exercise. I don't know, that looks real to me. Haha, off to a good start here. Cha-ching. All right, next image. 100%. Coming for you, Katie. Ooh. So Katie did say that the noise was like more consistent in the fake ones. And the noise here does look pretty consistent. It does. It's interesting because noise can be a dead giveaway with CGI or Photoshop stuff too. I'm gonna go with AI on this one. Haha, 2 for 2. Let's go. And only 98 to go. I'm gonna go with AI. Ha, 3 for 3. This one looks real. It's just too much. All right, I'm getting faster at this. That's 10 for 10. Just saying, the trend line is strong. That's AI. That looks too perfect. I'm getting faster at this. That's real. Oh, first one I got fooled by. I was getting a little cocky. But this one, all right, so the reason I thought this one was real was because of some of the ones that were real had these imperfections, like these like bubbles here. I think I got a little arrogant there after, what was I had 13 in a row correct. All right, so then maybe this is getting harder. Maybe this is getting harder. That's AI all day. I might say this one's real. Ooh, all right. Still at 90% though, that's not bad. This one looks real. Okay. This one's tough. I'm gonna go real. Okay. That's real. That's AI. Oh, that was a tricky one. That one looked AI. That one's one of the best ones I've seen so far. Although I am rushing, I'm starting to get a little arrogant here, and I'm rushing maybe a little bit more than I should be. But all right, not bad though. 88.9% accuracy. That's pretty good. How many more do I have left? So this is all right. This is my 100th one, and with an accuracy rating of 83.8. I'm gonna go with real. Oh, I got the last one wrong. All right, so I went 83 and 17 after 100. That's an accuracy of 83%, which means, I am the statnews.com radiology champion of 2026. Like, am I in the wrong industry? I don't know what radiologists make, but just saying, like. So I was slacking with Katie just right now to brag a little bit. She says, "But I trained you," and she's not wrong. I have to be completely honest. The pointers she gave me did help quite a bit. I think it was interesting, like you said, like how the noise is consistent and like the patterns kind of feel like things are a little bit too perfect. It definitely helped me. It's and for a lot of them. I don't know if I would have picked up on that as quickly had she not put it out. That being said, all right, that was a lot of fun. Now let's learn more about the study from runner-up Katie Palmer.
Hey, let's talk about deepfakes.
Let's talk about deepfakes. So let's just talk about what the researchers did here. What was the how did they design the study? What did they find?
Yeah, basically once ChatGPT came out with its image generating capabilities, these are researchers who work on large language models regularly. They're like, let's see what kind of x-rays it creates. And they realized they looked pretty good. So then they decided to generate a data set of 132 deepfake x-rays using ChatGPT. And then they showed those to a bunch of radiologists, and they showed a bunch of real x-rays to those same radiologists, and figured out how well they could tell the difference between the two.
And how well could they tell the difference?
Not that well. So the two main things were, when the radiologists weren't primed, they didn't know that these were AI. They were just asked to comment on the general quality of them. Only 41% of the radiologists noticed that something was up. Then independently were like, hey, these look like AI. Oh. And then after that, they asked the radiologists, okay, some of these are AI, tell us which are which. On average, they could only get the difference accurate 75% of the time.
What does that tell us about how good these images can be?
Yeah, they're really freaking good. The other analysis they did was comparing the radiologist's ability to tell the difference between real x-rays and ChatGPT x-rays versus real x-rays and synthetic fake x-rays created by a very intentionally designed radiology vision language model, or sorry, just vision model. So it's explicitly fed real chest x-rays and then tasked with generating chest x-rays. And basically their ability to distinguish between those two classes, they were the same. So even supposedly really good synthetic x-rays are basically the same quality as the ChatGPT generated x-rays.
Really? Yeah. And so ChatGPT is pretty good at generating these things, but not so good at spotting them. Is that right?
Yeah. So yeah, and then the other analysis they did was showing those ChatGPT generated x-rays to a bunch of language models, including ChatGPT. And yeah, the performance in distinguishing the real versus fake ones was basically the same between the radiologists and the models. So yeah, you would expect that ChatGPT could tell which images it had generated, but it on average, I think it caught, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's generally the same.
What are the concerns here, though? What are experts telling you about why this is why it's concerning that something like ChatGPT that freely available can just spit out such convincing medical images?
Yeah, short term, it doesn't seem like there are a ton of risks, right? You won't have a radiologist randomly being shown a ChatGPT generated image in the course of patient care. There are flows, the images come from the scanner to their computer system. There's just not a situation where they will be seeing a ChatGPT generated image and it won't have an impact on a patient. The main concern is down the line, what if hackers decide to attack a health system in a different way than they currently do, which is breaking in and essentially holding patient data hostage. What if instead of just doing that and trying to steal the data, they inject new fake data into the system? And now that seems like a possibility where technologically it wasn't before. So the risks extend beyond just the medical system itself, this hypothetical like hacker risk. I think more pressingly, they're thinking like this could be implicated in medical fraud. So if you're like, I don't know, trying to get a workers' comp claim filled or something like that, there are cases in the past where somebody's like used somebody else's x-ray to say, hey, I had this injury. If you can just generate that image, then it might be easier to make those false claims.
Yeah, yeah. And so you took the test, and you did pretty well, right?
Yeah, I got about the same degree of accuracy as the radiologist, around 75%. Anybody can do this quiz. They shared it freely in a GitHub, so it's a fun test for anybody to do.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it like right after this, actually. But when you told the researcher in the story that you did pretty well, the researcher thought there might have been a reason for that. What was that?
Yeah, he was basically like, did you read my paper before you took the quiz? And I was like, yeah, I did. It's like, well, you probably noticed that we highlighted the, issues with the deepfake x-rays.
Hey, oh, I have to take the test.
I was trained. I trained myself beforehand a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I feel like anybody can take it. You'll see for yourself, like the patterns do emerge pretty quickly. You start to get a sense and a feel for which ones are fake. And there are certainly there's a wide range of quality of the fakes. Some of them are like, come on, guys, this is bullshit. Yeah. You can bleep me out there. And others, like, you really have to think about it and you'll still get them wrong.
Is that something that might be like, maybe becoming to like medical training, like the idea, the ability and training on how to spot fake images?
Yeah, I mean, I think time in medical education is always at a premium, so I don't know if this is going to rise to the top, especially given the fact that the risks right now are very theoretical. But because it didn't take very long for me to get a sense, I don't think it would be a terrible idea for a radiologist to just play around with it a little bit and get a feel for it.
But there's also there was an interesting point as well that these could have legitimate uses as well. Like there's the ability to generate artificial X-ray images could have some benefits. And what do those include?
They're increasingly being used, like that synthetic chest X-ray algorithm or model that I told you about. Basically, if you have a radiological finding that's particularly rare, but you want to study it or you want to create an AI model to identify it in future X-rays, you can create the synthetic images and then train the AI on those synthetic images. It's kind of like a weird, snake eating its tail kind of moment. So yeah, that's the primary example that I've heard. Like if you've got a really rare finding and we don't have a lot of X-rays of that finding to learn from, you can generate new ones. You can also use it to teach students about, how to find something in an X-ray image, but not have to worry about patient confidentiality and showing them a real X-ray or CT or whatever.
And, as far as, for those that are concerned, what are some ideas being bandied about as far as how to prevent this from, what's a potential solution to the risks?
Yeah, I think, short term, the radiologist training can help, but it's not going to be foolproof. And the hope is that there will be something foolproof, either, watermarks and, metadata on ChatGPT and other model generated images that let you know, hey, this is AI generated, or on the counter side, protective side from the health systems, watermarks showing this is where this real image came from. So you can vet from both sides.
Thanks again to Katie. That was a lot of fun. And if you enjoyed this video, again, please like and subscribe. It's a little click, but it's a big deal for us. And we'll be back next week. Same stat time, same stat channel.